of the biggest things I focus on is helping people to get back to a place of hope. Hope.
The morning show worth talking about. Faith at Work with Yvette Gavin.
Hello, and welcome to Faith at Work. I'm your host, Yvette Gavin. This broadcast that you're watching right now, Faith at Work, with yours truly, me, Yvette, has been on television now for a full year. When I was given this amazing opportunity to host a Christian TV show on the Preach the Word Worldwide Network, it was indeed fulfillment of a vision God gave me back in 1997. Our mission for this broadcast is to empower and to inspire women of faith so they can increase their influence in the marketplace. I am very grateful to Preach the Word Worldwide Network owners and the board who extended this grant for this very broadcast to me. As the Word of God teaches us, there is a season for all things. Our grant for this broadcast, actually it started for 6 months and then it was extended for an additional 6 months. And so we have a total of 12 months. And today is the end of those 12 months. And it is also the end of our season for broadcasting this show on PTWWN. I can't say thank you enough to our viewers, to our sponsors, to our guests, and most of all, to the best of the best production team. I have been humbled by your emails, your donations, your words of encouragement, and by the support provided by my production team. Thank you all. Where this is our final weekly broadcast on PTWWN, I want you to know that Faith at Work with Yvette Gavin is a ministry that will continue with the mission of empowering and inspiring women of faith so they can increase their influence in the marketplace. If you know anything about me, you know we're working on some things that we're certain will help you to take your God awareness and faith at work to higher heights. So I want you to stay tuned and sign up for our newsletter at www.faithatwork.tv. I'm going to say that again, at faithatwork.tv, to make sure you don't miss anything coming from the Faith at Work ministry. Well, today I am answering viewers' questions. So go grab your coffee or your tea and join me after this short break for answers to viewer questions.
COVID-19 has changed the way leaders engage teams, and it has caused teammates to shift how they communicate. Effective communication is more important today than ever to a team's growth and overall success. The John Maxwell Leadership Game, implemented by Yvette Gavin Consulting, can help you lead your team into more effective leadership and communication practices. Schedule your workshop today. Call us at 424-262-2462 or email us at yvette@yvettegavin.com. The perfect way to start your day. Family, traffic, meetings, family, all can be stressors in our everyday lives, but spending a few minutes with God can prepare you to take on the world. The Faith at Work devotional is a perfect vehicle to do just that by helping you center on what's most important, your relationship with God. And now, for your donation of any amount, you'll receive a copy of the Faith at Work devotional. Just visit our website at www.faithatwork.tv.
Welcome back, everyone. It's time for me to answer your questions. And before I get started, I just want to say thank you for all of you who've taken the time to actually send us an email with a question for the show. So here's the first one that we have. It reads, I am struggling with connecting with my team while working remotely. Do you have any suggestions on what I can do to keep the team engaged? I love this question because there's so many things you can do to keep your team engaged. But here's how I like to start this answer for you. I want you to start thinking about how did you do it when you were in the office? What were some of the things that you did? And try to bring those things into a remote or a virtual workspace if you can. So for instance, if you were doing one-on-ones with your team, and I hope you were, if you weren't, this is a great time to start. Start there. Do a one-on-one with them and make it where it's not about project work, office things. Just have a one-on-one connection. That could be a 15-minute chat with you. It could be a 20 minutes or a 30-minute chat where you just really connect with that person on something that they want to talk about. And you tell them, there's no agenda. This is our time together. And you allow that resource to just share with you what's going on with them. And I'm going to tell you why I'm recommending that. Because when we are in the office, we would typically just walk by someone's office door and just pop in and ask how they're doing or how was their weekend. We would walk by our cubes, and just check in on people. We can still do that in a virtual environment, whether you're doing it on the phone or you're actually adding a platform where you can actually have a video talk with that person so you can actually see them. Of course, another thing that you can do is also to actually have like a meet time for your team where you play games and you're just interacting with each other. We refer to it now as social sharing, but we were doing that before this pandemic. You can do that now. Actually giving your resources an opportunity to just get on, we use Zoom a lot here, so I'm going to say Zoom, but of course you could be on Teams or some other type platform. But the goal is to have meetings where you're actually truly sharing in a more sociable way. Here's some things that I am aware of that others are doing and they're going over well. So I know one team, they're based out of California, but they have resources in Georgia and as well as in Florida. And what they decided to do was poll the team and ask them what type of social sharing meeting would they like to have where they all gather. And guess what they voted on? They wanted to do a sip. And I forgot the actual little clever name they gave it, but in essence, it was like a wine tasting, if you will. And so each employee actually had an opportunity to just go out and get a bottle of their favorite wine, or you may have some people on your team that prefer not to drink wine, but you invite them to bring whatever beverage of their choice. And that's the key thing, whatever beverage of your choice. And each person had a chance to go around and talk about the beverage that they brought in and why. So consider something like that. That could be really fun. But I hope you picked up on the key thing. They actually did a poll, a survey. So you're asking the team, what is it that they want? And I honestly think that is important because too frequently we make the mistake of assuming what other people want and needs are. Nope, we need to stop and just ask them. And it's totally fine to just schedule a one-on-one and say, hey, I don't have an agenda. I just want to see how you're doing. And listen what comes back. Well, I hope those things are helpful for you. If not, if you need some other ideas or recommendations, I'll tell you what I've been doing to stay abreast. I've been Googling, honestly, simple, right? What are people doing to keep it, to stay engaged with their teams? Playing games with them, doing some non-work type things. So every time you connect with them virtually, it's not about office work. You want to also add some fun things in there as well. And of course, we're at this place now with the vaccine where people are actually gathering together again. So if you have an opportunity to do that soon, consider doing that as well. While still maybe perhaps depending on in or out, whatever your preference is warm, so why not take them outside and do something outside? Okay, next question. The second question reads, several people at work lost loved ones during the COVID crisis. I want to pray for them, but some of them are not Christians. Is it politically correct to tell them I want to pray with them when I know they are not Christians? Interesting. So let's look at this, look at these two components. when I hear I want to pray for them, but some of them are not Christians, my first thought is that they don't have to be Christians for you to pray for them. You can pray for someone without them ever even knowing that you prayed for them. So it's all about your heart. If you have a heart to pray and to cover others during this time when you know that there's an emotional thing perhaps maybe going on with them as they've lost loved ones, then you should go ahead and do that. The Holy Spirit is really backing you to pray for them. This other piece that you mentioned here about, is it politically correct to pray with them if I know that they're not Christians? Well, if you know that they're not Christians and perhaps they would not want you to pray with them, then my question, I'm thinking, well, why would you want to go and pray with them? Because you can actually pray for someone without praying with them. You can pray for them. And that's where I want to encourage you to focus on, praying for them. That's the number one thing. Number two is just show that you care, because that's what I'm hearing in your question, that you really want to show compassion and love toward your coworkers who've suffered a personal loss. You can do that in multiple ways. You could send them a card. And it doesn't have to be like something, where you have to go out and purchase it, because you could come back and say, well, I don't have their home address if y'all all working remotely. What about an e-card? Or something as simple as an email that just express your heart of letting them know that you care about, perhaps their loss, and you just want them to know that you're thinking of them, that you're praying for them, and that you're here if they need an ear. It's totally fine, and it is totally politically correct when prayer is a part of who you are and what you do, to share it from your perspective. I don't believe that it is correct politically or even spiritually when you know that someone may be opposed to praying with you to go and try to pull them into that, to your type of faith belief. I think the best thing that we all can do as Christians is to live it, is to live that life of showing love. And when it comes from a place of love, people will receive it as that. I've said to people whom I know are not of the same spiritual beliefs that I am, when there's time of crisis in their lives, I've said to them, I'm praying with you. I'm praying for you. My prayers are with you. I've never had anyone to come back and say they were offended or they were hurt. But keep in mind what I'm trying to share here. I share it from who I am, that I'm doing this. They didn't ask me. I didn't ask them to come and pray with me. I'm doing that out of my own heart and concern for them. And the last thing, 3 parts on what I want to share in this answer. You can pray for people and never tell them. Jesus did it all the time. There's so many references in the Bible. So consider those things, that you can pray whether anybody know that you're praying. You can pray for someone, and you can also tell someone that you care, and you can show your love and concern. And I think that's what the prayer is all about, right? Is that you want to show love and concern about that person. So there's so many ways that you can do that as you pray for them without asking them to pray with you for them. I hope that was helpful to you. We're going to take a short break, and when I come back, we will continue answering your questions.
The perfect way to start your day. Family, traffic, meetings, traffic, family, all can be stressors in our everyday lives, but spending a few minutes with God can prepare you to take on the world. The Faith at Work devotional is a perfect vehicle to do just that by helping you center on what's most important, your relationship with God. And now, for your donation of any amount, you'll receive a copy of the Faith at Work devotional. Just visit our website at www.faithatwork.tv.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm here answering your questions. This next one is pretty long, so I'm going to take my time to read this one, but it's a great one. Okay, this question reads, I lost my job last year, and today I receive an offer for a job that is paying me half of what I used to make. It feels like the new company is trying to take advantage of the fact that I am unemployed. I know I'm worth more and not sure if I should accept this lowball offer. What do you think? Whew, okay, let's get started on this one. I actually love this question. And for those of you who know me, you know what I'm about to say. First thing you do, even if they offered you a great offer, is to do what? Counter. Because I can assure you, any offer you get, there was still money on the table if you didn't go back and negotiate something in your contract or agreement for employment. I say that even if it's your very first job coming out of college, where we typically just accept whatever is offered for the position. So let's start there. I'm assuming that you didn't try to negotiate since you feel that what's being offered to you is very low. With it being low, people still sometimes are willing to work with you. And keep in mind, when you're negotiating salary, it is not always the number that you want to focus on. You know, there are multiple ways to monetize things. And so if they come back and they're not willing to go up on or can't go up on the actual salary, look for other opportunities that equates back to money. For instance, if you get more time off and you're being paid, that's actually an increase in your salary. I'm going to say that again. If you have more time off, if you can negotiate more paying days off where you can go and enjoy and do whatever you want to do, then you're actually making more money. Another place where you can see where you're actually getting an increase, where it may not look on the surface as if it is an increase. And this is one that I've been able to help some coaching clients actually negotiate. If you're coming from a company that offers certain benefits that the new company isn't offering, you can ask for some of those benefits. For instance, if you came from a company that actually had a gym inside the facilities, and you were able to go and work out before work, doing lunch at work, after work, that was, a saving cost back to you that actually made your salary a little higher at that company if you were into working out at a gym. So you move to the next place and they don't offer a gym. I've seen where companies have been willing, when asked, to include the fee for their gym membership for a certain period of time. So there's so many ways you can negotiate salary. But if you feel that the company is lowballing you, I believe over time, if you maintain that mindset, you will not enjoy being there. And most likely you would leave. And so I want to encourage you not to go into a situation where you feel as if, or you're thinking that you've been taken advantage of, because that's setting you up for failure from day one. I also want you to consider, I don't know what the work is. So you may be going in making less than you were making when you were, employed full time. But think about the work that you're doing at the place where you may be making less. Is there a new skill that you will be gaining in this other position? If so, I want you to start seeing that new opportunity for a new skill set as increase over time. Because when you pick up something new, it goes into your tool belt, and that's going to allow you to become more marketable in your future. There have been times where I personally have actually taken a step back when it came to salary in order to seize or take advantage of the opportunity, because I saw the opportunity as being greater, the potential of that growth being greater than where I was. I can assure you, I've done it at least twice in my career, and both times it paid off for me because I don't just look at the actual salary. I'm looking at the totality of the package when I make a move. And so taking less money sometimes just to pivot, not to the side or forward, but sometimes we need to pivot back in order to go further. It's like putting, what you call the bow and arrow, putting that arrow and you stretch it back, but when you release it, it goes high, right? To new heights. And sometimes when we step back in the right environment, in the right role, stepping back on salary, we can actually go further. I made that decision when I was actually doing some consulting work years ago. And I had an opportunity to go and become like a full-time employee at a company that was really close to my home. I could actually get on a bicycle and really bike to the job. So I saw that as an opportunity to spend more time with my family. My son was young at that time. I can get home earlier, be less fatigued from those long drives that I was previously doing, so I could be more engaged at home in the afternoons after work. But I was making less money. And when I got to that new environment, making almost $10,000 less than what I was previously making, I saw opportunity. And first thing that comes to my mind is, I think it was Caleb, and in the Bible, going back to the Bible, taking it back to the Word, when Caleb went before to check out, the spies, and some of them people came back and they said, we see giants in the land and we can't overtake it. But Caleb was one of the two who said they saw a land of milk and honey. They saw opportunity. And so I want you to start looking for the opportunities in this situation. And that's what happened to me when I made that transition. I started looking for opportunities where I could add greater value. And I was able to do that in a short period of time. And I can't even make this stuff up. This is just how good, God is. I was in that environment a total of 6 months. And then I got a promotion. But I was there 6 months and I was looking for opportunity. I was making recommendations. I was making suggestions on how we could do things a little bit better. I was opening up doors of connection within my own network with my manager. And within 6 months, I was actually promoted into management. I wasn't a manager when I took that job. I was a manager in the previous job, and then I stepped back. And then I took a position, same field, but I wasn't in a leader's role. 6 months later, I was in a leader's role with a higher salary, more than the $10,000 I left at the other company. 6 months. I don't know if that would happen for you. I don't know if it would be 6 months, if it would be 3 months, or even 12 months. But what I want you to focus on is shifting the way you think. Before you make a decision to do anything, I want you to always see more for yourself. I want you to see the best for yourself. And sometimes more and best may come in a package where it may be disguised, like the initial salary may be a little less than previously. But only you will know. I don't know what this new environment is. I don't know where your opportunities are. I don't know if you're going to be doing something new right out of the bat, which will automatically be an obvious opportunity for growth for you if that's the case. But I want to encourage you to shift the way you think and not think of it as the company is taking advantage of you, because I know what that can lead to. And lastly, I've shared this with you guys before. When you're at a crossroad trying to make a decision, think of 3 trusted friends or advisors that you could go to and pose this question to them and ask them and see what you get back. Asking God to speak to them, speak through them to you on which way you should go. Hope you find some use in some of that I'm sharing with you. And not knowing all the details is really hard. So y'all keep in mind before you start judging my answers that I don't have all the details, when people send me in these type emails. This last one, really quick, reads, my father is sick and I've had to take time off from work to help him. Today, my boss put me on a performance improvement plan because of my absence. They are trying to make me choose between my dad and this job. Is this legal? Well, to answer the question as it's written, no, it's legal for a company to put you on a performance improvement plan, because in order to do that, they have to have just cause, and they have to have that conversation with you on what those causes are. Now, when you talk about choosing between your father who's ill and the job, that is a personal decision that only you can make. A company is in business to make money. So it's all about the profit that company needs to make. They're serving customers, so they have tangible work or services that must be provided. And you are there because they want your help to get to providing those services or those products. If you are absent from work because of your need to be there with your father, which I totally understand it and I hear your heart, the company work still must be done. So the decision, I believe, that's been put before you is how can you maintain your job and still be there for your father? And there are legal ways for you to do that. You can consider taking time off. There's a Family Leave Act to protect people like you in this situation, where you can still maintain your job and still be there with your father. Now, of course, the way it's set up at your company, you would have to talk to your HR, your HR staff there to see how it would work for you there. You may not be getting your salary, but you still will be able to maintain your job. There are so many other solutions. I suggest to you that you have a heart-to-heart conversation with your leaders. Share with them you desire to stay at the company, but there's a season of time that you need to step back to be there with your father, whether it's part-time work moving forward, or you actually take 6 to 8 weeks off. Okay? I hope that's helpful. Remember, in all that you do, just put it before God, and He will direct your path. Well, thank you all again for your questions. I hope you found some value and my answers back to you. And as I said to you earlier, this is my last time here on PTWWN in this format, speaking to you through Faith at Work with Yvette Gavin. It really has been an honor and a privilege to be able to bring this broadcast to you each Monday at 5:30 a.m. and on demand. I will not sign off without saying thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for watching and helping the ratings to make sure that we were on that list of top rated shows. It started like within the first 2 months of being on the network. Thank you for being my guest. Thank you, team, for being here to help me get this show on the air. Couldn't do it alone. I'm so grateful. And I want to remind you, if you want to know what's next for Faith at Work with Yvette Gavin, go over to my website and do it now. Go to faithatwork.tv and sign up for our newsletter so you can get all of the latest news on what we're doing next. Until next time, I am indeed your girl, Yvette Gavin.